Android versus iPhone. Probably one of the most heated topics between the tech community. I myself have been an Android user for 5 years, since my first smartphone. But recently I switched and I bought the iPhone 15 Pro. The iPhone has been one of the most popular smartphones since it came out back in 2007.
You're calling it iPhone.
And ever since, Apple have been one of the top players in the smartphone market. In this video, I want to share my experience as a former Android user using the iPhone 15 Pro. Is it all hype, or is there something Android users don't know about? I also separated this video into a few separate points that I think will highlight the differences best. Customization. If this question had been asked even a couple of years ago, there wouldn't have even been a debate. Back then, the iPhone's customization was basically limited to the wallpaper. But in the last couple of years, Apple has added widgets, customizable lock screens, and focus modes. I know iOS isn't on the same tier as some Android skins, but it's a lot closer than it used to be. And the one thing about Apple is when they do something, they make sure to do it right the first time. The customization options you are given work flawlessly and smoothly. Turn on the torch.
It's on now.
Now, I still think that Android is ahead. You can much more easily change icon packs, the app layout, the theme colors, and I do notice a lack of this in the iPhone as someone who likes to tinker with their device. Now, I did want to note that in WWDC 24, Apple released loads of new customization features for app icons and for the control center. This should make iOS's customization nearly on par with a lot of Android skins. Voice assistants. In 2024, AI is becoming a huge part of everyday life, and voice assistants are a big part of that. On iPhone we have Siri, and on Android we have Google Assistant. Siri is very good at performing tasks on your phone like torch or timer, as opposed to Google's better with general knowledge or trivia. If you ask Google a question such as when was the Titanic built, Google will give you an answer based on its findings, as opposed to Siri will just give you a bunch of search articles it's found, which beats the purpose of having an assistant, as you'll basically have to search through the articles to find your answer. Now ChatGPT will be introduced in iOS 18, but until then, if you're looking for any questions from your assistant, Google is going to be far superior. App library. On Android, of course, you get the Google Play Store, and on some Samsungs you might also get the Galaxy Store, and on the iPhone you'll get the App Store. In iOS 17.4, we now have the ability to sideload apps on iPhones, which is a huge win because it means that you don't have to jailbreak an iPhone anymore to be able to download apps from alternate app stores. Comparing both app stores, they really have all the apps you're ever going to use. But the one thing I find interesting about the iPhone is they allow you to delete apps, even like the iTunes Store, apps you'd think Apple would want you to keep. Before my OnePlus even, I had a Samsung Galaxy A10, and the amount of default apps that were already on it, including the Google services, apps that often I couldn't even delete, the amount of storage it took up was a lot, so I do feel the iPhone's better in this regard. And on top of that, the iPhone's often more optimized for apps like Instagram or TikTok, so your videos are going to come out better. Compatibility. Compatibility used to be the iPhone's biggest weakness. I watched a few videos from other YouTubers that highlighted similar topics to my video, and most of them, the biggest complaint was the lack of USB-C. But now since we have it, the iPhone might be on top. In my opinion, the iPhone has better native support for many apps, especially social media platforms. And with USB-C, we can now record straight to an external drive. Not to say Android hasn't had these benefits for many years, but I think the way Apple has implemented it, and especially along the lines of app support, I think iPhone has the win there. Variety. When it comes to variety, I think there's something I want to highlight. I was watching another video of another YouTuber, and he was speaking about how there is a specific Android for everybody, but the iPhone is made for everybody. And I think that point really sums it up quite well. There may be an Android with a better screen, better camera, better, faster charging. There's going to normally be an Android that's better at something over the iPhone. But the iPhone just does everything really well. Like, what I'd put it as is the iPhone's like an 8 out of 10 at everything, as opposed to some Android phones might have a 10 out of 10 camera, but it might only have maybe a 6 out of 10 screen. It's just the way Androids work. So is the iPhone for everyone? No. The iPhones don't compete in the budget space, but if you are happy with the set of options that the iPhone offers and you like iOS, then you really can't go wrong with it. This video isn't meant to hate on anyone who's bought an Android, it's just my personal opinions, and of course I think Androids are great phones. I'd definitely consider buying one as my next phone. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's one of my first, so please consider liking and subscribing. It would help out the channel a lot. Thanks, and see you in the next video.